Jai Hind everyone, welcome to my channel Brainy Teach. Today I am here with my new video of Geography, Class 8, Chapter 3, Agriculture. But before starting the video, I request you all to watch the video till end, like and subscribe. So let's begin the explanation. India is an agricultural country. The transformation from a plant to a finished product involves three types of economic activities. These activities are primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. So let's discuss about the primary activity first. Primary activities, it includes all those connected with the extraction and production of the natural resources. The example of primary activities are agriculture, fishing, and gathering. The secondary activities are concerned with the processing of all these resources. Manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, and weaving of cloths. They are some of the example of the secondary activity. The third activity, that is the tertiary activities, provide support to the primary and secondary sector through services. Transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertising. They are some of the example of tertiary activity. Agriculture is a primary activity. It includes growing of crops, fruits, vegetable, flowers, and rearing of livestock. If we see around the world, about 50% of the people they are engaged in the agricultural activity. And if you discuss about the India, two-thirds of the India's population is still dependent on the agriculture. The favorable topography of a soil and climate, they are the vital for agricultural activity, and the land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. Agriculture, which is also known as farming, it can be divided as a system which has inputs like seeds, fertilizers, machineries, and labor. It also involves some operation like plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. The output which we get after this includes crops, wool, dairy, and the poultry products. Farming, it is the thing which is practiced across the world. Farming depends upon the geographical condition of the area, demand of the produce, labor, and the level of the technology. We can divide farming into two main types. The first one is a subsistence farming, and the second one is the commercial farming. Let's discuss about the subsistence farming. The subsistence farming, it is practiced by the farmers to meet their need of their family. Traditionally, a very low level of technology is used and household labor are used to produce on a small output. Subsistence farming can be further classified into two. The first one is intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. In intensive subsistence agriculture, the farmer cultivate on a very small land using very simple tools and more labor. Climate with a large number of days with sunshine and fertile soil permit growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. Mainly rice is grown there, and other crops which were grown are wheat, maize, pulses, and the oil seeds. This type of agriculture is prevalent in the thickly populated area of monsoon regions of South, Southeast, and East Asia. Now, the second one, that is the primitive subsistence agriculture, it includes two type of the cultivation. The first one is the shifting cultivation, and the second one is a pneumatic herding. In the shifting cultivation, the plot of the land is cleared by burning the trees. The ash are then mixed with the soil, and crops like maize, yam, potatoes, and cassavas are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, that land is abandoned and the cultivator moves to the new plot. This type of cultivation is also known as slash and burn cultivation, and it is also practiced in the forested area of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia, and Northeast. Nomadic herding is practiced in the semi-arid and arid region of Sahara, Central Asia, and some part of the India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. In this type of farming, herder moves from place to place with their animals for fodder and water. They they moves along defined routes. This type of movement it arises in the response to the climatic constraints and terrain. Sheeps, camels, yak, and goats. These are the animals which are commonly reared. These animals provide the herder milk, meat, wool, hides, and other produces. In the second time of farming, that is the commercial farming, the crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in market. The area cultivated and the amount of the capital used is very large. All the work is done by machine. We can divide the commercial farming into two parts: the commercial grain farming, mixed farming, and the third one is the plantation agriculture. In commercial grain farming, the crops are grown for the commercial purposes. Wheat and maize, they are the commercially grown grains. These type of farming, it is done in the temperate grassland of North America, Europe, and Asia. These areas are sparsely populated with large farm spreading over hundreds of hectares. Severe winter restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. But in the mixed farming, the land is used for growing food and fodder crops and rearing livestock. This type of farming it is practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. The third type of commercial farming is a plantation. Here, the single crop of tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana, and cotton are grown. Large amount of labor and capitals are required. The produce which they get may be produced, processed on the farm itself or in the nearby factories. The development of the transport network is also essential for such type of farming. The plantations are found in the tropical region of the world: rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India, and Sri Lanka. A variety of the crops are grown in the world to meet the requirement of the growing population. These crops provides a raw material for the agro-based industries. Major food crops are wheat, rice, maize, and millet. Jute and cotton are the important fiber crops, and the beverage crops are tea and coffee. Let us discuss about all these crops one by one. Take the first one, that is the rice. Rice is the major food crop of the world. It is also a staple diet of the tropical and subtropical region. It is grown in India, Japan, Sri Lanka, and Egypt, but China leads in the production of the rice. The favorable climatic conditions which is there in West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 to 3 crops of rice are grown in a year. Rice need high temperature, high humidity and rainfall to grow. It grows best in the alluvial clay soil which can retain water. Now move on to the next crop, that is the wheat. Wheat requires moderate temperature and the rainfall during the growing season, but at the time of the harvest, they need bright sunshine. The wheat grows best in the well drained loamy soil. It is grown extensively in USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia, and India. But in India, wheat is grown in the winter season. The next major crop is a millet. Millet is also known as coarse grain and it can be grown on a very less fertile and sandy soil. It needs low rainfall and high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall. Jawar, bajra, and ragi are the millet those were grown in India. These millets are also grown in Nigeria, China, and Niger. The next major crop is maize. Maize requires moderate temperature, rainfall, and need a lots of sunshine. It is well grown on a fertile soil. Maize is grown in North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India, and Mexico. Now let's discuss about the fiber crop. The first fiber crop is cotton. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost free days, and bright sunshine for its growth. It grows better in black and alluvial soil. China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil, and Egypt, they are the leading producer of cotton. Cotton is main raw material of the cotton industry. The second fiber crop is jute. Jute is also known as golden fiber. It is grown in India and Bangladesh. It requires alluvial soils and high temperature, heavy rainfall, and humid climate. Let's move on to the beverage crops. The first beverage crop is coffee. Coffee, it is produced in the wet climate and well drained loamy soil. Hill slopes are more suitable for them. Brazil is a leading producer, which is followed by Colombia and India. The last beverage crop is the tea. Tea requires cool climate and well distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of their tender leaves. It requires loamy soil and a gentle slopes. A large number of laborers are required to pick the leaves. Kenya, India, China, Sri Lanka, these are the countries those produces the best quality of the tea in the world. The next topic is the agricultural development. Agricultural development refers to the effort made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. It can be achieved by adopting different ways like increasing the cropped area, the number of the crop groans, improving irrigation facilities, use of fertilizers, and high yielding variety of the seeds. The ultimate aim of the agricultural development is to increase food security. Let us take the two case study, one from India and another from the USA, to understand about agriculture in the developing and a developed country. The first case study it's from India, a small village Adilabad in Gazipur district of Uttar Pradesh. Munnalal, he is a very small farmer of this village who has only 1.5 hectares of land. His house is in the main village. He purchased high yielding variety of the seed from the market every alternative years. His land is fertile and he grows at least two crops in a year. Either it is wheat or rice or the pulses. The farmer take advices from his friend elders as well as from the government agricultural officers regarding the farming practices. He take a tractor on a rent for plowing his field. He also take water on a rent from a tube well in nearby field to irrigate his field. He has only two buffaloes and few hens. He sell milk of the buffaloes in a cooperative stores. He is also a member of the cooperative society from where he took advices on the type of the fodder for his animal, safety measure to protect the health of his livestock, and artificial insemination. All the member of his family they help him in the various farm activities. He sell his produce in the mandi located in the nearby town because he doesn't have a storage facility, so he is also with the other farmers forced to sell the produce even when the market is not favorable to them. But in the recent year, government has taken small steps to develop storage facilities for these farmers. Now move on to the USA. In the USA, the average size of a farm is larger than that of Indian farm. The size of the farm is about 250 hectares, and here the farmers generally grow corn, soya bean, wheat, cotton, and sugar beet. Joe Horan, he is a farmer of the Midwest USA, and he owns about 300 hectares of land. He grows corn in his field. He take adequate measures to control pest. He takes the soil sample to soil testing labs to check whether the soil has all the nutrients or not. He is having a computer which is linked with a satellite which gives him a precise picture of his field, and this help him to use the chemical fertilizers and pesticides wherever they are required. He uses tractor, sand drills, levelers, and combined harvesters and threshers to perform various agricultural operations. The grain they are stored in automated grain storage or they were dispatched to the market agencies. Now we have discussed by seeing all these two case study we can find that the USA farmers are working like a businessman, not like a peasant farmer. That's all in this video. Hope you all have understood the chapter. Thank you for watching.